Why does criticism hurt so much? Have you ever had somebody say something to you and your stomach just drops? Maybe it was just a passing comment, or maybe a piece of feedback at work, or someone's tone of voice in a message, and you can feel it, that punch in the gut, not a little hurt, not brushed by Tuesday, I mean properly, like the floor has come out from underneath you, and then it just goes round and round in your head. You can't sleep, you can't concentrate, you're just replaying it and wondering what you did wrong. And that frustrating thing is, part of you knows it probably wasn't even that big a deal, but you can't switch it off. If this sounds familiar, this video is for you, because today we're going to go behind the behaviour. We're going to look at why that happened and what it means about how your brain is wired, when it tends to hit the hardest, and most importantly, what you can actually do about it. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you're going to understand yourself like you never have before. Welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm Julie, I'm a counsellor and a coach, and this is Behind the Behaviour, where we look at why we do what we do through the lens of psychology, neuroscience, our environment and our lived experience. And today's topic actually came from you. After my show earlier this week on why criticism hits like a punch in the stomach, the response told me everything I needed to know. So many of you felt that, which means we need to talk about it properly. I want to introduce you to someone. Let's just call her Sarah. Sarah is brilliant at her job. She's capable, experienced, genuinely good at what she does. And one afternoon, her manager calls her in for a quick catch-up, gives her some feedback. Nothing major, just a small suggestion about how she handled a client call. The manager moves on within 30 seconds, completely forgotten about it by the time they'd had the lunch. But Sarah goes home that evening and she can't eat her tea. She replays the conversation 17 times. She decides she's terrible at her job. She nearly emails her manager to apologise, and she lies awake at 2 a.m. wondering if she's going to get sacked. And she wakes up the next morning feeling like she's been hit by a bus. Now, the question is Sarah overreacting? No. Sarah's brain is doing exactly what it was built to do. It's just doing it in a situation that doesn't actually require it. And that, right there, is what we're here to understand today. Why does the brain respond this way? Now let's go behind the behaviour. Your brain, all of our brains, has one primary job. And that job isn't actually to make you happy. It's not to make you successful. It's not even to help you think clearly. Its primary job is to keep you safe. And for thousands of years, safe meant belonging to the group. Because if the group rejected you, if you were cast out, you didn't survive. Rejection wasn't an ego bruise, it was a death sentence. So your brain evolved to treat the threat of rejection with the same urgency as a physical threat. And here's the bit that always gets people. Research from neuroscientists, including Eisenberger and Cross, found that social rejection activates the same parts of the brain as physical pain. The same parts. Which means when someone criticises you and it feels like you've been stabbed in the gut, that's not drama, that's neurology. Your brain genuinely processed it as pain and your nervous system responded accordingly. Your heart rate went up, your thoughts started racing, and your stomach started churning. Now that's not you being weak, that's a survival system doing its job. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Because some people hear a bit of criticism and they shrug, they process it, they move on. And others, like Sarah, or maybe like you, feel it in their whole body. They can't let it go and feel genuinely confused about why they can't just shake it off. So what's the difference? 3 things, and they all connect. 1, your nervous system sensitivity. Some nervous systems are more finely tuned than others. Not more fragile, just more finely tuned. Think of it like a car alarm. Some alarms only go off when someone tries to break in. Others go off when a lorry drives past. Both are doing their job. One is just set to a higher sensitivity. Now, in many neurodivergent people, those with ADHD, autism, or who process the world differently, that sensitivity is often turned up even higher. There's a term you may have come across: rejection sensitivity dysphoria, RSD. Now, I'm not going to give you a clinical label today because actually the label matters far less than the understanding. But when I first heard of RSD, I just couldn't understand what it meant. What I want you to know is, for some brains, the experience of perceived rejection or criticism is neurologically more intense. And it's not a choice. It's not a personality quirk. It's wiring. And there's research from 2024 that backs this up. People with higher sensitivities show heightened activity in the amygdala, the brain's threat detector. And these are in response to social cues that others might not even register. So, if you spent your life being told you're too sensitive, please listen. Your nervous system was paying attention and it just needed a better explanation. Secondly, your history. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine and it's been taking notes your entire life. Every time you were criticised as a child, every time you got something wrong and you felt shame, every time you tried and were told you weren't good enough, and every time someone's approval felt like it was on the line, your brain filed all of that. It built a catalogue. So now, when someone gives you feedback as an adult, your brain doesn't just hear the words in front of you. It scans the entire catalogue and it responds not just to this moment, but to every moment like it that came before. That's why a passing comment from your manager in 2025 can feel like being 7 years old in the class again. It's not irrational. It's your brain trying to protect you from a pain that it's felt before. 3, the gap between intention and impact. Now, this is the thing about criticism. Most of the time, the person giving it has absolutely no idea how it landed. Your manager has moved on. Your friend forgot they said it. And the person who left a short reply to your message was probably just in a rush. But your nervous system, it doesn't know that. It only has the data it received, and it's responding to what it perceived, not necessarily what was meant. That gap between what was intended and what was felt is where so much of our pain lies. Now, let me introduce you to Marcus. Marcus has been building up to asking his business partner for feedback on a new idea he's been working on for weeks. He finally shares it, and his partner nods, saying, "Yeah, it's interesting," and immediately starts talking about something else. Marcus spends the next 3 days convinced his idea is terrible, that his partner thinks he's out of his depth, that maybe he's been winging it all along. Now, in reality, his partner loved it, was already thinking about how to implement it. The "yeah, interesting" was genuine. He'd just had a horrible morning and his head was somewhere else. But Marcus's brain didn't have access to that information. It had one data point, a flat response, and it built an entire story around it. Now, this is what our brains do. They hate uncertainty. And when they can't find the full picture, they fill in the gaps. And they never, ever fill them in generously. They fill them in with the worst version, because that keeps us alert. That keeps us safe. The problem is, it also keeps us suffering. Because there are specific conditions that turn the volume up. When you're already tired or depleted, your prefrontal cortex, that part of your brain that does the rational thinking, needs energy to run. And when you're exhausted, it's the first thing that goes, which means that your threat response has less to compete with. So the same comment that you'd brush off on a good day can really bring you down on a hard one. We are wired to care more about the judgment of people that we value, people in authority, or people that we depend on. A stranger's opinion barely registers. Your manager's opinion, your parents, your partners, that really hits you somewhere else entirely different. When it touches an area that you've already doubt yourself. If someone says something about a skill that you feel confident in, it just bounces off. If they touch the exact spot where you already have that voice saying, maybe you're not good enough, it goes straight in. When the delivery is unexpected or in public, being caught off really removes your guard, therefore your defences. Being criticised in front of others adds shame into the mix. And shame is one of the most powerful emotional amplifiers that we have. So if you've ever thought, why did that one bother me so much more than usual? The chances are one or more of those conditions was in play. Now here's what you can learn to do. I've explained your brain to you. Now let's talk about working with it, because this one really matters. Name what's happening in the moment. The most single powerful thing you can do when that familiar feeling happens is to name it. Not analyse it, not solve it, just name it. My nervous system is responding. This Is my threat system activating? This is a pattern, not the truth. And why does this work? Because naming what you feel activates the prefrontal cortex, the rational brain. It literally helps the thinking part of your brain come back online, and it gives the threat response a bit of competition. Now, you can't think your way out of a feeling, but you can name your way into a pause. Step 2. Ask one question before you believe the story. Your brain has written a story about what just happened. And before you move into that story, ask yourself one question. What else could be true here? Not 20 alternatives, just one. She might just be busy. He might be having a tough day. That comment might have been about them, not me. Now, you're not dismissing your feelings, you're just really widening the lens. Because the story your brain wrote in those first 3 seconds is rarely the whole picture. Now, step 3, check the source. Not all criticism is equal. And this is something I really want you to take in. Ask yourself, does this person know what they're talking about? Do they have all the information? Do they have my best interests at heart? If yes, then their feedback is worth sitting with. Take what's useful, leave what isn't. You don't have to carry feedback that was never yours to carry. And not all criticism deserves rent-free space in your brain. Some of it is about the person who gave it. Now, step 4, move your body. When your nervous system is activated, your body needs to complete the stress cycle. It's built to move. It's built to discharge. A walk, a shake of the hands, deep, slow breaths. Even just standing up and moving to another room. You're not running away from the feeling. You're giving your nervous system a physical release so it doesn't just sit and simmer. If this is someone who doesn't know your full story, who's having their own hard time, who has an agenda, or who is simply not qualified to judge what you've done, you can choose to put it down. You don't have to carry feedback that was never yours to carry. And not all criticism deserves your energy. Step 5, talk to someone who knows you. It's one of the most underrated things that you can do. When the spiral starts is to contact someone who sees you clearly. Not to fix it, not to give advice, just to say, this happened and I can't get it out of my head. Can you just remind me who I am for a moment? We all need that person. And if you don't have one, that's worth noticing too. Right, the final chapter. And this one's really, really important. Sometimes the answer is just to ignore it. When a stranger online leaves a negative comment about something they know nothing about, ignore it. When someone gives you feedback in a way that's designed to hurt you and not to help, ignore it. When it comes from a place of jealousy, insecurity or projection, Ignore it. When you're exhausted, unwell, or going through something difficult, file it. Come back when you are feeling better in yourself, more rested. So let's bring this all together. When criticism hits you harder than you think it should, your brain isn't doing something wrong. It's doing something very right. It's protecting you. It's scanning for threat. It's trying to keep you connected, safe and valued. It's just doing it with a little too much enthusiasm sometimes. You weren't built to be indifferent to how people treat you. You were built to care about connection and caring deeply about how you're received is not something to be fixed. It's something to be understood. So the next time it happens, name it. Question the story. Check the source. Move your body and reach out to someone who knows you. You were never too sensitive. You were just never given the right explanation until now. If this helped, please do share it with someone who needs it. And if you've got a question you'd like me to answer, put it in the comments below. That's where the next video starts. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you very soon.